This is the Nations Conspire channel. Welcome to today's show. The scripted breakup of Donald Trump and Elon Musk has begun taking place, and it's all that everybody in the media is talking about. I'm going to talk about it here because there's a lot of obvious reasons that this is happening, and this is all about heading towards a technocracy, which is a version of communism, which is a lot worse than actual communism, believe it or not. If you think about the control mechanisms that the government will have through technology. So this feud has begun because Donald Trump has dismissed Elon Musk from Doge and working in the White House, and he tweeted out, "Elon was wearing thin. I asked him to leave. I took away his EV mandate that forced everyone to buy electric cars that nobody else wanted, that he knew for months I was going to do, and he just went crazy." And of course, this is all political theater. This is playing out the way that they had scripted this to play out. They had been teasing that Musk was going to break away from Donald Trump for months now. But of course, they did a lot of the things that we knew that they were going to do, like push electric vehicles on conservatives, because so many conservatives went and bought electric vehicles because Donald Trump and Elon Musk told them to do so, because the Democrats were picking on Elon Musk and his stock was starting to tank. And of course, in response to that, what does Elon Musk tweet out? Well, he pulls people deeper into the psychosis, because one of the biggest psyops the government's ever created, known as the Epstein files, was the topic that he brought up. He said, time to drop the really big bomb. Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That's the real reason they've not been made public. Have a nice day, Donald J. Trump. And you're hearing this stuff, and it's almost incredible to think that these are conversations that are occurring online on a public forum between the President of the United States and his right-hand man, the richest man pretty much on the planet. Because that's what this world has turned into, where these people do this stuff on a public platform so they can draw you in to the psyop. Normally, you would never hear about conversations that Donald Trump is having with someone, and nobody with common sense would put these out to the public unless they were trying to draw you in. And that's what they do. The internet and social media draws you in very easily into these psyops, because you actually think by reading these things that they're the ones tweeting this out, and that they're actually so unself-aware that they're making these conversations public. So now Elon Musk is accusing Donald Trump of being on the CIA-created Epstein files list. And again, if you're not familiar, those things only make the news. They only get discussed if the government wants them to be discussed. If Jeffrey Epstein was really doing all this stuff out on an island in public and not underground, okay, you would never have known about it unless they wanted you to know about it. They would have whacked him before there was ever even a trial. And what did they do? They brought people in. They got people deeply invested. They got people to turn on Hollywood celebrities. This stuff was all done by design as a massive, endless rabbit hole of distraction. So now Musk is saying that Trump is on the list. I mean, should anybody be surprised, even though it's a fictitious list, being that Donald Trump has all of these photos in public with the guy that all these MAGA people give a free pass to because they're so deeply rooted and invested emotionally in the President of the United States that they refuse to actually see the truth, that both of these parties, the Republicans and the Democrats, are working together to tear down the Constitution in the United States of America, which it's already pretty much torn down. We've seen how they've removed so many freedoms that we once had, such as freedom of speech. And again, the seesaw effect of how the Republicans had their freedom of speech removed when Biden was in office, and now we see Democrats lose it. That's exactly how this works. Everybody cancels one another out. So after he tweeted that out, Elon Musk pinned this on his X account, and he wrote, "Is it time to create a new political party in America that actually represents the 80% in the middle?" And well, what would people think he's talking about? The Tea Party? Do you think he's talking about that? Is he thinking that he's talking about some little fun meme party that he's going to start, some type of Bitcoin? He's talking about technocracy. That's what the goal has been all along. And look who checkmarks that. Look who is excited and retweets it. Somebody who's supposedly an enemy of Elon Musk, Mark Cuban, another technocrat, because that's what these guys are. All these wealthy men who sit there using their DARPA-created technology, which they pretend that they're the ones responsible for creating, who are billionaires and billionaires and billionaires, they all want a technocracy where they're in total control. Elon Musk even reposted somebody else's tweet. Elon's stance is principled. Trump's stance is practical. Tech needs Republicans for the present. Republicans need tech for the future. They are drawing people in via technology. Most of these people don't have a clue about the dangers of artificial intelligence, about the dangers of this addiction to technology, and how the whole purpose is to get you so addicted, so hopelessly dependent on the technology, where every time you have a question, you just Google search it. And that's the world we live in now, right? They gave you 20 years of tech. People became more addicted to tech than any drug. You never hear in the news about people's addictions to technology, how people are on the phone more than they are actually looking up at the people around them. And of course, we know that Elon Musk has proudly told us that the phone's eventually going in the body, because this is all about getting those neural links embedded inside of people's bodies, right? So we have a government core of tech knights. We have people like Donald Trump. These are all people who want to bring this forward. And then, of course, you see the tie-in with the communists on the other side. They all have the same exact goals. They all want centralized control of all the world's resources. They want centralized control of society. They want to reduce populations. They want to bring you into smart cities, or as Trump calls them, freedom cities, because all they need to do is take the word smart out and put the word freedom, and the MAGA sheeple will run and clamor for the freedom cities, right? They'll be glaring the national anthem, I'm sure, every day in the freedom cities. That'll get them all excited to go to the freedom cities, not even realizing that they're actually smart cities. They'll introduce digital IDs and introduce a central bank digital currency, which will have a different name. The central bank digital currency will be called something like Bitcoin, which, of course, we know all conservatives actually support. And don't forget Donald Trump's involvement with the line over in Saudi Arabia that I discussed recently. America funding the finishing of the line, which is really the world's first smart prison that they're building out in the middle of Saudi Arabia. So Elon Musk, okay, so these articles are out there now, new ideas or a revival of his grandfather's discredited movement. What's driving Elon Musk? Well, what's driving him is technocracy, right? His grandfather, Joshua Haldeman, is one of the faces of the technocracy movement. And when people hear technocracy, they don't think much. They say, oh, technology, technocracy, is that all that it really is? And Elon Musk has obviously tweeted out many times about accelerating Starship development to build a Martian technocracy. He uses kind of goofy humor, Martian technocracy. It won't click in people's minds what he's actually talking about. But when I read you right now about technocracy, your brain's going to go, oh, ding, 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 ding. Now I understand some of the stuff going on with Canada and some of the stuff going on with Greenland and Donald Trump. So there'd be no politicians, business people, money or income inequality. Those were all features of what technocracy called the price system, and it would have to go. There would be no countries called Canada or the U.S. either. Just one giant continental landmass called the Technate, a techno-utopia run by engineers and other experts in their field. In the Technate, everyone would be well-housed and fed. All material needs would be taken care of, whether you had a job or not. This is prison, ladies and gentlemen. That's exactly how a prison is run, where you're taken care of at the prison. You'll be housed and fed in your prison. Do you want to live in a prison? Well, of course you don't want to live in a prison, but what they're doing is so strategic as far as psychological operations that people out there are going to clamor for this. Why? Think about the hatred that Republicans have for Democrats and Democrats have for Republicans. They're going to be begging for a world with no politicians. They've made all, and I've said this for years now, nobody's noticed this subtle stuff that they've done where late night talk shows used to just be, hey, Tom Cruise is going to be on tonight. Hey, Harrison Ford's going to be on. And they come on, they tell some fake story about something they did, and then they promote their movie. They have introduced you to all of these politicians. They're household names now. You would never know who a governor of Florida was if you lived in New York or a governor of California. You wouldn't know or care unless it was someone like Arnold Schwarzenegger, and then you go, oh, well, it's Arnold. So, everybody knows that. They have made these people, the Mitch McConnells, all these characters are household names, and everyone is to the extreme. Bumbling buffoon fools, complete idiots that talk about completely idiotic topics, who want people, to live a way that they don't want to live. They get everybody gaslit and worked up against each other. They've done this deliberately. They've made these politicians household names so that you get so sick of these politicians, these actors who are pretending to be voted in, that you're going to want a technocracy, because you're going to say, you know what? I trust my tech. I can look up an answer. I get it. Oh, I get all this data from my phone, right? Oh, it's so much easier. I don't want to deal with, AOC or any of these other buffoons that they constantly show us on, and they do this deliberately by putting them on these talk shows. Nobody wants to even see these people, and nobody realizes that they're putting them on the talk shows to introduce them to you, to make you more knowing of these characters in Congress who are supposed to be representing you. And then they say the extreme opposites of what you want, whether it's the Republican guy who's talking anti-Roe v. Wade, making the Democrats all riled up, or talking about gender equality, or talking about DEI hires. And then on the other extreme, right? You get both extremes. Oh, we need to, these books that we're putting in the schools that are telling everyone that white people are racist. Oh, and everybody just gets so irate to the point that they're going to want a technocracy. And the other key thing that was in there'd be no countries called Canada or the U.S. One giant continental landmass called the Technate, a techno-utopia. Have you noticed what they've been doing? Have you noticed the stuff about Greenland and Canada? Have you been wondering why? Well, this is why. The Club of Rome's plan, and I talked about this in the book Mankind at the Turning Point, which is a book even promoted on the Club of Rome's website. It's the second report to the Club of Rome. This is where you can find this map. For anyone out there that says, well, is this a fictional map? Where did this map actually come from? It's from a book published in the 1970s. I have the actual book where it talks about where and who is going to merge and how, and then you see what's going on right now with Greenland and Canada. You see some of the stuff going on with Ukraine and Russia and what the plan is. It's a 10-kingdom plan, okay? So go back to what I just said. There'd be no countries called Canada or the U.S. And then you have stuff like Donald Trump even last week. I told Canada, which very much wants to be part of the fabulous Golden Dome system, that it will cost $61 billion if they remain a separate but unequal nation, but will cost zero if they become our cherished 51st state. They're considering the offer. And of course, the Golden Dome system is just a cover for Skynet. It's a cover for surveillance state. So you have Elon Musk now saying that we need another political party. Then you start looking at the stuff that I read to you about technocracy, right? Well, these are things Elon's tweeted out that I've shown you many times. The only action needed to solve climate change is a carbon tax, okay? As a reminder, I'm in favor of universal basic income. And what's the other thing that Elon Musk is doing in Texas? He's developing a company town. See, these are terms that are used, company town. They're going to work around the smart city terminology for the Republicans' sake, because they're going to immediately hear that and be triggered to say, I'm not going there. I'm not living in a smart city, where Democrats are very likely to be fine with it, right? So a company town called Starbase, which is a municipality in South Texas near SpaceX's launch site. The town is being built around the company's operations with a focus on providing housing and amenities for SpaceX employees. Starbase has recently been incorporated, and residents, primarily SpaceX employees, voted in favor of it becoming a city. He's building a smart city under the name of Starbase, under the name of company town. And for anyone out there that hears that and is like, oh, that's a great thing because you have a job somewhere, and you're like, oh, wouldn't it be great if your work covered your rent as well and your food and all that? Yeah, well, if you want to be a prisoner, it's no different than the prisoners who have day jobs at jail. And you go home, oh, you're living in a company town. You're living with all the people you work with, which can only be hell on earth. Imagine that, seeing these people. You already see them enough. The system's already so messed up. You see these people more, you see your own family. You're working 40 hours a week at a job, and you're seeing all these people. You're going to see them all day and all night, because you're going to be in a company town, right? So Musk has already planted all these seeds about what he wants to do. He wants a carbon tax. He wants a universal basic income. He wants company towns, which are smart cities in disguise. And don't forget that tweet that he put out where he retweeted from Dan Ives, who said that Tesla's front and center of the fourth industrial revolution, which is the creation of Klaus Schwab. It is his creation. That's what the fourth industrial revolution is. Now, on the other side of this, we're seeing stuff that Donald Trump is doing, because they're both bringing in a technocracy just under different, it's going to have different titles. You're still going to think you're in a republic in America, democracy, whatever they want to twist the terminology to be when it's not. And Trump created and tapped the Palantir to create the master database for every American. If you haven't heard this story, I'll go into more detail in separate videos, but the Trump administration is collecting data on all Americans, and they're enlisting the data analysis company Palantir to do it. Okay, the New York Times reports that President Trump has enlisted the firm founded by far-right billionaire Peter Thiel to carry out his March executive order instructing government agencies to share data with each other. The order has increased fears that the government is putting together a database to wield surveillance powers over the American public. And what does that mean? Well, this is more than just, they have our data? No, what do they have? My credit card, my social security? This is where you start watching and seeing stories come out about people that are considered anti-Semite because something they might email or something they might text. This is where everything starts to get more and more extreme. And the conservatives will buy into it because of the psyops like the one you just saw, where the guy had Molotov cocktails, which I covered on the website, which was probably the Mossad's worst psyop ever created, at least funniest, in regards to Jane Doe, John Doe, and George Glass victims. The whole story of the guy walking around, the choreographed people standing around him and weren't even running away from a guy who's supposedly lighting people on fire. I mean, you can't make it up, right? But these psyops, they continue to do those as he builds out this database. They're going to start saying, hey, we're going to use this database to track people that we consider homeland security threats, people who might be anti-Semite, right? And of course, that can be defined any way you want. You start reading the book of Revelation enough out in public, you'll be considered one when you start talking about the synagogue of Satan. So we are headed towards a technocracy, and that's what Trump's entire presidency is about. It's bringing in the Orwellian technocracy, but at the same time, you're going to see Elon Musk introduce it publicly. So Donald Trump might not be admitting it's a technocracy because he can't say that to conservatives out there. He's got to say that this is still America first, this is still capitalism first and all this stuff. But the stuff he's implementing are all part of a technocracy. The stuff you're going to continue to see, like digital IDs to protect us from border safety and border problems, the AI infrastructure that Trump is building in. And now Elon Musk, on the flip side, is getting people trained by splitting them, right? Because MAGA is going to be a little bit divided if they're going to side with Musk or then side with Trump. Now, the majority will probably side with Trump, but there still will be some that side with Elon Musk, and his dorky sense of humor somehow has appealed to people because you see people out there who are siding with Musk. And don't forget, creating a neural lace is the thing that really matters for humanity to achieve symbiosis with machines. That's what this is all about with technocracy. If all goes well, there'll be hundreds of people with neural links within a few years, maybe tens of thousands within 5 years, millions within 10 years. Technocracy. So this is a show. Everything they do out in public is a show. But the people out there, somehow in their minds, because they see it with their eyes, they think that this is actual behavior from these politicians. They do this stuff deliberately because they make you think that this is how they actually behave too, because this is how the majority of society behaves, right? They tweet out their opinions. They bicker with each other on social media. They disagree with each other, right? And you don't think anybody tapped the president on the shoulder? Oh, they can't control him, right? And said, hey, you probably shouldn't say that. Or Elon Musk, hey, you probably shouldn't say this stuff about Donald Trump and Epstein's client list, right? But they work people because that's what this is. The internet is a giant hive mind where they could put psyop after psyop after psyop out there and everybody believes it. No different than they put on the news. Every time someone turns on the news, they see a guy with a Molotov cocktail. They believe the story is real because it's the news, right? Now, they believe it's fake news when they're talking about their favorite politician or something along those lines with Donald Trump. And, they're telling you that Hunter Biden's laptop, all these psyops that they've created. Then everybody gets drawn into those. And like, that's fake news that he's innocent or he's guilty. The stories on the news are manufactured stories to make you feel a certain way, to manipulate your behavior, to bring in new laws and change laws and cancel out laws. So this is just a game that they play online. These guys aren't even the ones putting the tweets out for the most part. Donald Trump probably can't even send out a tweet. These guys are not doing this. If they were, how would they be running businesses? Elon Musk tweets out every 5 minutes on his social media account. So they're supposed to tell me he's the smartest guy alive. He's putting people in space, fake, all this stuff that he's supposedly doing. But he could sit there and keep people in the psyop every minute of every day. He doesn't sleep either, apparently, because he's tweeting at all hours of the night. And they all are. because they're playing you. It's how they bring you into this. And they make you pick sides, and you pick side Trump, or you pick side Elon. And then they start just introducing you to their technology. And, we're getting comfortable. Now conservatives are comfortable with electric vehicles. Next, conservatives will be comfortable with the humanoid robots they want to put in your home. Next, the conservatives will be comfortable with the Neuralace, because they'll be told that cell phones are obsolete, like Elon Musk has been telling you. And the only way to get it, a phone, would be to have a Neuralace. And you'll say, well, I can't live without a phone, so I guess I better get the tech in my body. Next thing you know, people are taking the mark of the beast and be able to buy or sell without it. So they're introducing the technocracy right in front of our faces. This is nothing more than a government stage psyop, the breakup of Donald Trump and Elon Musk. It's laughable. It's like high school, and they do this out in the public, and nobody questions the validity of it. Nobody goes, is this even real? Are they just playing games with our mind? They just automatically take this as 100% real, because they're reading it on their social media. They're living in a different reality, really the digital realm, which is a different reality. And they're not going, hey, wait a minute. There are big agendas at hand here. Why do I care so much about an Elon Musk tweet or a Donald Trump tweet? Because you're in the psychosis, and they have you sucked into it. And now they can manipulate you and move you around like a chess piece, which is what this is all about. The left and the right working together. And they're working together to bring about this digital control grid. And they're going to bring it in unless you get off your tech and start pushing back against it, which we aren't seeing anybody do whatsoever. Look at the things that I read to you about a technocracy, what it involves. It's right there for you to see. There's no countries called Canada or the U.S. Oh, they're not. It's one big, giant continental landmass called the Technocracy. Oh, I think how convenient that Trump is bringing that in. Oh, you don't think that they're working together, Trump and Musk and the Democrats, to bring this in? Or that tweet that Musk put out when Donald Trump first won the fake election. And he said, look, the Democrats really did win the election. It was all Democrats who were standing by Donald Trump's side, right? I mean, you got the Club of Rome's plan being carried out. You got Musk, who's openly in for the carbon tax. Musk is openly in for universal basic income. And Musk is openly building his own company town. Yeah, that sounds like all ideologies of the digital enslavement system that they have planned based around your carbon footprint. That's what they're doing, ladies and gentlemen. So don't fall for their games. Push back against their games. Turn it off. That's how you start taking control away from them, by not caring, by not giving in to what they say, by getting off your tech, by not allowing them to continually pass these laws that give them full authority and range over, well, we could take your phone, we could track your phone now. Think about how far we've come with them being able to monitor and trace you everywhere you go. Oh, they had a phone on them. Oh, well, we'll solve a crime because they had a phone on them. Oh, right. Did they need a warrant? Well, we're going to find the pings on the phone, and we're going to go through the phone. And then people just go, well, the phone's like my brain. Look at all the stuff I'm putting into my phone. Right. And the next thing you know, they're in your brain with a Neuralace, which is what they want to do to everybody anyway. And they've already done it to some people. As most of us know, that experiment that occurred in 2020 had nothing to do with the common cough or the runny nose. It had to do with the Internet of Bodies, and we're moving closer and closer to it. So keep an eye on this game that they're playing and how people respond to it. But remember, Elon Musk, in addition to the stuff he wrote about Epstein, he tweeted out, it's time to create a new political party that represents the 80% in the middle. Oh, all of a sudden, there's 80% of people who aren't Republican or Democrat, huh? Now, I don't know about that. I mean, it's hard to come across anybody that isn't on, that's against the entire thing. But now he's going to start pretend, oh, I helped Donald Trump win the fake election. Oh, there's people out there that don't want anything to do. Everybody's becoming sick and tired of politics. Everybody's becoming sick and tired of the spending bills and the debt. Well, what's the solution, Elon? Well, we know what the solution is. It's the technocracy. Everything run through tech, so there is no debt. Everything's run through a computer algorithm. Oh, and everyone will agree. They'll be like, that's great. The algorithm will keep us out of debt, right? Yeah, the algorithm will also keep you locked in your home and on a curfew and, of course, allotted time that you're allowed to leave your home, just like a prisoner. That's what this system is. That's what a technocracy is. It's enslavement for the rest of us through technology. I thank everybody for being here. I hope you're all doing well. God bless you and your families as always.